boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about character. We're going to talk about the characters and the stories that we know, the stories that we read, the stories that we even tell. Okay? So I've got here with me some books. Okay? And I'm going to share some characters from these stories. And I'm going to tell you why I like these characters. And that's what we're looking at this week. We're trying to explain why we like these characters. And I'm going to be asking you to share some of your favorite characters with us. And hopefully next week, when we have a Google Meet again, we can ask some people to share with the group some of their favorite characters and why they like them so much. So I'm going to share some with you. Okay? Mr. Punch goes to lunch. In this story, and this is a story I've been reading with the year threes, this is actually a script, so it's written as a play. And I like this story because Mr. Punch is so naughty. Yes, we all are naughty in our own ways, and he's very naughty, very silly, and he makes you laugh and he makes you cringe and go, oh, there's something wrong with this guy. And he makes you feel sorry for everyone else who has to be around him and talk to him. And that's Mr. Punch, the silly Mr. Punch who goes to lunch in this story. This next one is in a comic book. Comic books that I used to read when I was little. I used to read a lot of Tintin. And I like Tintin because he always tries to do the right thing. He makes good choices. You could say he's very principled. And he has this faithful dog, Milo I used to call him, because I used to read this in French, Tintin, the comics when I was little. It's Snowy in English. And in the comic book, he has his adventures. And he's always kind, and like I said, always does the right thing. Other characters that I really enjoyed that made me laugh a lot. And I grew up in France, and France many years ago used to be called Gaul, and we have the Gauls, Asterix and Obelix. And again, I used to read these in French, and these characters make me laugh. I liked that they had a superpower, a super strength that they got from drinking a magical potion that was made by the village druid. And so then these Gauls were able to fight off the Romans, who were everywhere, the bad guys. They were everywhere in Europe at the time, in Gaul and also in Britain, where they go in this story. So there's some other characters that I really like. They're funny and they're brave. They're also very strong, and sometimes it'd be nice to have superpower, super strength. So I could fly off somewhere or jump over a house or lift something really heavy. So yeah, I like Asterix and Obelix. Other stories might find their ways online, like an ebook, like some of the stories I've been reading, like Harry Potter. I've been reading with my daughter Mary. And so I really like the characters in Harry Potter, particularly Harry, Ron, and Hermione, who are just very kind and want to be happy. And as they're growing up, and they go through a lot of challenges, especially Harry, but they overcome their challenges and they still end up as good people, making good choices. So I like them. Then there's some characters that don't even have a name, and actually in this book, this is the Chinese version of it. It doesn't matter if it's in Chinese or whatever language on the cover, because in this book there are no words. This is a wordless book. And I like the characters. Well, I like the frogs in this story because they're flying frogs. They get like a superpower. Something strange happens and they start to fly around the town. But I really like this man because he is seeing the frogs out of the corner of his eye while he is having a midnight snack, and he's wondering, like we all would, like what is going on here. And so I like this character. He doesn't have a name, but I can relate to him. I think I would be like, what is that I'm seeing out the corner of my eye? So there's a character that I like in this story, in this wordless story. And finally, this is a book that that is very dear to me, and maybe not a book that you have seen or that you would read because you're little, but it has some wonderful characters in it in this story, and this is Hamilton. And this is a great big book that has some beautiful pictures inside, and it's a production in Broadway, and it has wonderful characters in the story, particularly Alexander Hamilton, and how he writes himself out of trouble, and he writes himself into trouble, and he has a great gift with words, and he uses amazing words, and he says amazing things. And this is full of songs and raps that I really enjoy singing to, and they make me laugh, they make me cry, and they make me feel all sorts of things. And so there's a character, Alexander Hamilton, that is also a favourite of mine. And so these are the characters that I would like to share with you, and I would like you to do the same thing. Whether you draw your character, write down some words, or just bring the book that you have to our next meeting next week, and share your character with us. And remember, you have to tell us why you like this character, why this character means something to you. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Thank you for watching.